سلام سلام سلام. اسم من نیکول بانیستر هست یا نیکی بنز. عید نوروز مبارک و خوش آمدید به نیکی بنز لایو. Salam! Eid Shoma Mubarak! Hello everybody, what's up? Today is Tuesday, so you are here for another episode of Nikki Banz Live! All right. I gotta quit the music, but you know I had to start today's episode with a little bit of bandari, some classic Iranian music, the type of music that makes you want to dance no matter what. And now you know, I gotta give you all the sound effects. Salam, everybody. Hello. Salam means hello in Farsi, and it is incredibly apt that I'm saying hello to you in Farsi today, and that I am greeting you for Persian New Year. Special episode tonight. We're actually going to have two Instagram accounts coming on live. One is coming on right now. There's going to be, here we go. We're going to have Bita's Kitchen and Bita Milanian here today. And first and foremost, what you are looking at on your screen right now is a picture of Bita's half scene. And we're going to have her tell you all about the half scene in just a moment. So that's what you're looking at right now. And I'm going to be bringing on Bita in just a second. So hello, everybody. Just moving my camera a little bit. It is such a pleasure to have you here. And the reason why I'm greeting you in Farsi is not just because my guest today is Iranian American, but also because over the weekend, we celebrated Nowruz, which is Persian New Year. It is the launch of the spring equinox. So that is why this is an incredibly special episode here today of Nikki Banz Live. So hello, everyone. Welcome. I am so honored that you are here for another episode of my show. If you don't already know, my name is Nicole Banister, aka Nikki Banz. My Instagram handle is @TheyCallMeBanz. Go ahead and follow right now if you're not already doing so. And I'm bringing you this live show every single Tuesday. Every single Tuesday, I'm bringing you a 1-hour exclusive live interview with the most amazing actors, entertainers, influencers, content creators, and artists from across the globe. Every single week is a different guest from a different country. So welcome to Nikki Banz Live. As you all know, I just got back from a week in Dubai. So I actually celebrated Nowruz while I was in Dubai attending the Nas Summit. The Nas Summit was hosted by Nas Daily and his team. It was the biggest gathering of content creators from around the world in the past 2 years. We had content creators from India, from Pakistan, from the United States, from like all sorts of countries, from Tanzania, from Nigeria. It was crazy. There were 700 people there at this incredible summit in Dubai, and it was absolutely amazing to be there and to meet so many amazing people. I'm telling you right now, there are going to be some incredible guests coming on Nikki Banz Live in the next couple of months as a direct result of some of the fabulous humans I met at the Nas Summit in Dubai. All right, everybody, I know what you're waiting for. You are waiting for me to bring on the woman of the hour, the one and only Bita Milanian. Bita is coming here to you all, and she is a corporate marketing executive turned food vlogger and content creator. This is going to be so cool. I cannot wait to interview her. She's a phenomenal speaker. She's world renowned, and it's going to be such an absolute treat to learn from Bita, to hear more about her story and her background, her really diverse culture, and how she went from being a senior vice president in the corporate world to then becoming a foodie vlogger. This is going to be fantastic. All right, everybody, are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? I know you're ready. So now I'm going to bring her on. This is Nikki Banz Live. Stay tuned. Let's get her on right now. Here we go, party people. Where's my drum roll?
I'm ready and I'm pumped up. Nikki June, happy Nowruz to you. Your energy is phenomenal. I'm so excited.
Oh, merci. Thank you so much. Asi
بدنت آخه. I love it.
You know, I told my mom, I said, Mom, my mom is the Persian one in the family. I said, Mom, I need to introduce my show today in Farsi. I said, send me a voice note and tell me how to say the whole intro. She said, okay, bale, bale. And then she sent it to me.
And what a small world. I indirectly connected with your mom just recently, right? Like 2 days ago. That's crazy. I can't believe it. So I believe in the universe bringing people together, amazing people like you. So I'm grateful for that.
Oh my gosh. I am so grateful that you are in my universe, that you're about to meet my parents. Hopefully I will meet you live and in person in Los Angeles this summer when I'm back. And you're actually bringing up a great point, Bita. One of the things that I love to do when I start my live show, when I start NIKKI BANZ Live, is I like to tell people how I know the guests who are on my show. And so this is a fun one because you and I have we've never met in person, but we had a mutual guest. You have your own podcast and radio show, and you had interviewed a fabulous young Black and Persian man named Tobi Atkins.
Yes.
And then I had a fabulous young Black and Persian man named Tobi Atkins on my show, and you literally just DM'd me afterward and was like, wow, this seems really cool. I should be on your show. And I was like, yeah, you should be on my show.
I wanted you to be on my show, and then you were gracious enough to invite me on your show. So here we are. I love it. So yeah, Tobi is like my adopted nephew, and his family have become family to me. We're so proud of him. He's doing some incredible work and representing, you know, both the Black and Persian culture all at once. So it's wonderful.
Yes, absolutely. And for those of you who are just tuning in now, I too am half Black American, half Iranian. My mom was born and raised in Iran. My dad is Black American. They met in the United States when they went to college together, and the rest is history.
Your mom was, you know, a trailblazer of her time and really breaking taboos that exist in, you know, unfortunately in our culture. So my hat's off, and I bow to your mom. So.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Merci. I know my mom and dad are here live. They're tuning in the comments right now. So I know that she's very grateful. And I'm grateful for you for being here today. And the first question I want to ask you, Bita, is, you know, when I was doing research on you for this interview, reading your bio, reading your LinkedIn, following your YouTube channels, looking at your multiple different platforms, your list of accolades and accomplishments just goes on and on and on and on. So I want to know, when you meet somebody new, when you talk to somebody, how do you introduce yourself? Because I was like, there's so many things I could say. How do you introduce yourself, Bita?
It's do it, but you did such an amazing job. I just told a couple of colleagues of mine that NIKKI like nailed it in my short bio, because it's so hard when you do so many different things to like define yourself in just a couple of sentences. And you did an incredible job. I'm so impressed with your professional research and putting it all together. But, you know, I believe that I'm a multifaceted human being. I've been that way ever since I can remember. Being an immigrant kid, being a refugee kid, you know, kind of forces you to, you know, adapt yourself to different environments. And I always wanted to make myself proud first, and as well as my parents, and just give back to the community. And by doing so, you end up doing different things. So obviously my corporate job, my day job, the one that, you know, is my career, it has been very important to me. I've been in the telecommunications industry since I was 22 years old, and I'm 48 and a half. So do the math. And, you know, I'm in a very male-dominated field, and it's been actually very rewarding for me to be able to excel and grow and be where I am and be able to give back and hopefully encourage other young women to join the industry. But at the same time, you know, I reconnected with my roots, being Iranian and being born in Iran, and being away from it since I was 13. You know, kind of I got disconnected from all that I came from because of the immigration and all the challenges that we all went through. But at age 28, 15 years later, I found myself again in my community. And ever since, that was 2001, I haven't stopped. And I hope to do as much as I can, not only for my own community, but also for the community at large.
Wow. I think that explanation is just so beautiful. You know, it sums up all of these different facets of you, all of these different identities that you hold. And I love the fact that, you know, you started off by sort of sharing more about your background, because I think especially today in the world that we live in, when people think refugee, when people think immigrant, the general consensus can be fairly negative. And I think that that's something, that's a misperception, that's a misconception that I think we really need to challenge and that we really need to shatter. And it's one of those things where if we want to build a more tolerant and a more inclusive society, we have to know that our friends, our neighbors, people who, you know, that we see in the spotlight are refugees and they are immigrants. So can you talk to us a little bit about, you know, how your sort of journey to the United States has influenced, you know, who you are and what you do today, your journey as a refugee and as an immigrant?
Sure. So I left Iran when I was 13 abruptly during the Iran-Iraq war. One thing that I want to point out and I try to always bring up is that on that particular part of history is that it was the bloodiest modern era war. Over 1 million lives were lost in the Iran-Iraq war that started in 1980, 81 till about 86, 7 or 8, I don't remember, but it was a 7-year long, so 88. And during that period, you know, a revolution also happened in Iran. So we had a revolution, a change of regime and change of laws and taking away peace and taking away freedom from the people. And at the same time, we had a war coming down on, you know, on the people of Iran and Iraq at the time. So it was a very difficult period. I think I have my flowers sticking out here there. It was a very difficult period because as children, I was 6 years old when the revolution happened and 7 when the war started, you know, trying to find your identity, those are like most crucial ages. So my generation went through an incredibly difficult period. And then fast forward, it's a, you know, obviously we don't want to go cover all those years, but at age 13, that's when like everything peaked. And that's when my mother finally said to my dad, you know, we got to leave. And so, because she never wanted to leave the country. She was very much of a, you know, patriot. She wanted to stay and, you know, be part of the culture that she grew up in. So we fled and we went to Germany first for the first year, 2.5 years as refugees. First, my mom and I, and then a month later, one of my brothers came. The other brother had to stay back to serve in the military and go fight in the war, unfortunately. And luckily he survived. And then my father joined us a year later. So we, going through that change of, you know, having a kind of a normal life despite all of its challenges, still being in your own home. And we left my grandmother behind, who helped raise me and was very near and dear to me and was part of my soul. And so caught all these like abrupt changes as a child, you know, and really trying to find yourself and learn the language, you know, living in Germany, being a dark on you as a young kid. So then 2.5 years later, as soon as I had just settled and had, you know, made friends, we immigrated once again to the US. So you know, the immigrant journeys are all unique of their own, but they all have one commonality, and that's the adversity. And it's the adversity that really pushes you really move forward and really try to excel. So that's kind of me in a nutshell, why I feel I've had the motivation and the drive, like many other immigrants around my age coming from Iran, to really go for it. And I have to say, if I might, that Iranian Americans are the most successful immigrant community in America, who are also giving back. We've got executives and CEOs, you know, in Fortune 500s. So anyway, that's kind of, I think, the reasoning why.
Well, I'm so grateful and so appreciative of you sharing your story, because, you know, I know this is something that's very difficult. Anyone who is displaced from their home or from their community or from their country, that's an incredibly challenging thing to go through. And I think, you know, the way that you're able to describe your story of resilience and how you've then overcome and how you've been able to, you know, make this tremendous life for yourself first in Germany and now in the United States, is incredibly inspiring. So thank you for sharing that journey with us, for sharing a little bit more about your culture and your background. And I think this is a great time to segue into, sort of what we're looking at on your second screen, on your Bita kitchen screen. Since we're talking about Iran, we're talking about, Iranian Americans and immigrants and cultures. So for those of us who are watching and they have no idea what they're looking at right now on the second half of the screen, talk to us about this image that we're looking at and talk to us about Nowruz and the half scene.
Would love to. So March 20th, which was Sunday, was the vernal equinox. That's the moment that basically the earth is reborn on the first day of spring. And what better way to start the new year on the day that the earth is reborn, first day of spring? I think it makes a lot of sense. It's not a religious holiday, so we call it in Iran and a lot of countries in the region, Iraq, Afghanistan, a lot of, like Turkmenistan, all those countries celebrate the holiday, which is called Nowruz, and it literally means no new ruse day, so new day. So happy new day to everybody. And so as part of that tradition, which goes back, thousands of years ago, we have these elements that we set up on our half scene table, and half means 7, scene means letter S, so half scene, 7 S's, which is represented in those little beautiful eggs. I don't know if you can see them. Those are hand painted by an artist out of Toronto, Kiana Police is her handle, and each of those are the elements, which one of them is sabze, which is the wheatgrass that we grow to represent growth and growth in the new year and prosperity. And what else? We have seke, which is coin, so we want to have money in the new year, wealth in the new year. We have sir, which represents, it's garlic, and garlic represents health. We want to have health in the new year. What else do we have? Samanu, which is a pudding made out of wheat, which takes a long time for it to become sweet and become the pudding that it becomes. So again, we want to practice patience in the new year. We have serke, which is vinegar, which is also it also takes a long time. So that's also part of the representation of patience, and as part of our new year, we want to have. What else do we have on there? We have eggs, which is very similar. It doesn't have letter S in it, but it represents fertility. What else do we have? Did I miss it? Sombol, which is a beautiful flower, hyacinth flower. Looking at my half scene there. So these are some of the elements. I'm happy to, there's posts all around it. I don't think there's anybody who hasn't seen Nowruz stickers on Instagram. They have Nowruz stickers that you can use just like all the other holidays. So we're very thankful to Instagram for acknowledging Nowruz. And, it's one of the most beautiful traditions that brings all of us together. It's not a religious holiday. And it's one of my favorite holidays that we have.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for breaking down the half scene for all of us, sharing more information about Nowruz. I know for some people, this is the same old story, but for some people, it could be brand new. And we love to share our culture. We love to share more about Nowruz with people. I see my mom in the chat. She's saying, great explanation.
I'm sure I missed a few of them. I'm just so excited talking to your girl here.
No, it was a fantastic explanation. And you know what? I have to say, I'm a little embarrassed, but I've actually never done a half scene before. Oh. And I think, I need to do it. And mostly it's because I'm traveling. Last week for Nowruz, I wasn't here. I was in Dubai. How were the goldfish going to eat if I wasn't here? You know what I mean?
So we should get kits with the little eggs that they each have them. At least you can have that on and then have a little flower of something. And I try not to do the goldfish, the live goldfish, because they always die, and it's such a sad process. And just like saying farewell to these beautiful goldfish that's been sitting on your table for 2 weeks, and then you have to say goodbye to them. So that's why I have a sculpture of goldfish, and goldfish represents life. So we want to have life in the new year. Okay,
Bita, you are the first person who I've ever heard say that, just to have a fake goldfish there. I'm gonna take that next year. Everybody, you're hearing it.
Thank you, June.
Yes.
It's just like a really heartbreaking process. You bond with these fish, and then unfortunately, because they're not in the right environment, they die. So it's not a fun process, flushing them down the toilet or burying them in the backyard. No. So
Yes.
no more real goldfish.
Okay, no more real goldfish. You're hearing it here first on NIKKI BANZ Live. Next year, next Nowruz, I will do a house scene. I won't have real goldfish. It's done. It's happening.
No excuses.
No excuses. Exactly. Exactly. So, Bita, you have this incredible journey. You know, when I was describing you, I said, you know, you are a corporate marketing executive turned food vlogger, you know, turned content creator. Let's talk about the corporate marketing executive first. You are the senior vice president of marketing at Ribbon. And I wanted to hear more about your journey to telecommunications and to marketing. How did you get into that space? What are some of the elements of marketing that really excite you and invigorate you?
Well, it's a fantastic question. I never signed up to become a marketing executive in a telecommunications industry. It just happened. Stumbled on it. One of my closest family member, my cousin, Dokhtaramesh, she and her husband started a startup out of Toronto back in the late 90s, 96 to be exact. So they asked me to move to Toronto, the coldest months of the year, from October through February. I ended up working with them, and they had started a startup around telecom industry. So that's how I really dove into it and worked 19-hour days, literally, because it was a startup, it was out of the home. So that's how I really got introduced to the field. Fast forward, I moved back and I ended up working for other startup companies in the telco space. And I also worked with some of the most incredible Fortune 500 companies, like a company called Global Crossing, where I got to launch their media entertainment division right before 9/11 during that period. And that's when I really got in, and I've been blessed with amazing mentors and executives, both men and women, who have guided me with my own hard work and appreciation for the opportunities that I was presented. And I kind of tackled different roles and I never just did one thing, because I believe as a marketing professional, you have to understand the company as a whole. You have to look at it holistically, you know, because every division, every business unit in a company is essentially your client, as is the rest of the, you know, your customer audience. So you have both an internal customer and an external customer that you're marketing to. So I really always have had a roll up my sleeve attitude and learn the industry quickly. And then I actually took a break from my marketing role at in the corporate world, and started doing a lot of my cultural work, as I mentioned, in 2001, which became then a professional entity. I started my own creative PR agency called Butterfly Buzz. And at the same time, Farhang Foundation in Los Angeles was established. So we were kind of in tandem. Mine was kind of for-profit, looking for opportunities to promote Iranian artists that can be crossed over. And Farhang Foundation was a nonprofit, which I started working with them. And next thing you know, 2 years into it, I became the founding executive director. I left the telecom world for 5 years to help build the foundation. And that's when I really got to do a lot of incredible work together with Farhang founders. And then I was tapped on my shoulder in 2014 by one of my executives, who was one of my mentors back in 2000, to recruit me back to come to the company that I'm at today since 2014, Ribbon, which wasn't called Ribbon then. I was lucky enough that as part of one of our acquisitions, I've been part of so many mergers and acquisitions, and it's been a thrilling process. You know, a lot of people don't know what a marketing person does. They just think they put out press releases. No, there's a lot of in a marketing division of any company. So I got to help to rebrand, rename, relaunch the company to what it is today, being Ribbon. You know, merging two companies is not easy, rebranding and creating a new culture. So, you know, being able to ring the bell at NASDAQ when we announced the new name, and standing there with the two CEOs, you know, being again in a male dominated industry, being the woman who's there together with a couple of my other female colleagues, has been a thrilling experience. So as far as what parts of marketing I enjoy, marketing, I think, has become even more crucial than ever before. You know, as we all know, sometimes marketing is discounted within a company, and budgets, when they're cut, first marketing is where the budgets are cut, etc. For those of you in the corporate world, understand. But I think today, more than ever, especially going through the pandemic, companies realize the importance of marketing and digital marketing and communication, and having effective communication plans and content is more key than ever before. So digital marketing, I think, is king, and we all have to embrace it. Whatever industry we're in, whether it's a B2B or B2C, it's so important. So my role, my team, I have a creative agency model at our company. So everything is done essentially in-house, from all of our digital marketing content, from our website to video production to graphics, etc., to demand generation, all the way to our media analyst relations, to events and shows. And all of that is under one umbrella that I have the honor of leading together with my team.
Wow, wow, wow. I am just so impressed. And I think, you know, it's clear why you are in marketing, my dear. You are able to sell and speak and say exactly what you need to say to get all of us to get hooked. I'm so invested.
It's funny because
So,
social media, I don't really talk much about my real day job. Everybody sees the Bita, the kitchen, Bita the fun, Bita the dance, Bita whatever. So I appreciate this opportunity to talk a little bit about my job, because some people think I just, you know, show up and, you know, have fun. No.
exactly. Yes, yes. It is all a balance. It's all a balance. That's why I had to ask you about that, because I think it's so incredibly impressive that you are juggling all of these different things, the full-time job and what seems like full-time content creation. And I think before I pivot and start talking about your amazing you know, YouTube channel and your Instagram page, Bita Kitchen, I want to ask one more question about your corporate career, because you know, I know it's not easy being a woman in corporate America, and especially with these multi-layered intersectional identities, you know, that you have as an immigrant, as Iranian American, all these things. I know that can be very difficult. And I recently heard an interview from this incredible marketing executive. Her name is Bozoma Saint John. She is the chief marketing officer at Netflix. And she's this fabulous Black woman in a, you know, very senior role in you know, in marketing, and has held other roles across other industries. And people oftentimes ask her about shattering the glass ceiling, right? Which we know as you know, this sort of invisible barrier that women have to being in C-suite positions, to being in senior positions like you are. And she made this fascinating comment on her live where she said, you know, everyone thinks it's great to break the glass ceiling, but they don't realize that when you break it, all the glass falls down on you and you get cut and you get scarred in the process.
Yeah, it's so true.
And I would love to hear a little bit more from you about what it has been like to be a woman and to be a pioneer in the corporate world. You know, I'm assuming it hasn't always been an easy journey, but what has the experience been like as you've climbed the corporate ladder?
So, you know, I have been very active. I don't know about being a pioneer, but I think I've been part of the, you know, movement, especially in women in tech field, that we've tried to help each other and start organizations within our own realms. You know, we've got women in, you know, aerospace that have the same challenge. We've got women in any sort of STEM field that you can think of. There's challenges there. But one thing I can say about myself personally, I was always so busy. Again, I think the immigrant story and the fact that I had to hustle and really strive to succeed and make it happen and pay the bills and all that stuff. I was so focused on the job and really doing the best that I can. I never really allowed those things be a hindrance to stop me to move forward or shift my focus and go the other direction. Oh my gosh, I'm being discriminated against, or I'm not getting that opportunity because I'm a woman. And I have to say, I've also been lucky enough to have great male mentors and leaders that have never really tried to keep me down. Now, that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. That doesn't mean that I still don't experience it. What I'm trying to say is that instead of making the problem an obstacle, I've tried to kind of like jump over it or jump higher and work harder to kind of say, hey guys, I'm here too. Let's talk, or let's just, you know, come to the same leveling, bring the leveling ground down rather than try to sit back and complain about it. So, but I mean, I think it's an ongoing challenge. You know, we at Ribbon, my company, we have really are making DEI a very important initiative, just like every other company. But, you know, when you're going through transitions and companies merging and getting bigger and bigger, you know, focus changes, you shift your focus to other areas that seem to be more priority at the time or more crucial. But we're really trying to realign ourselves. I work very closely with our HR team and our legal team to really build these programs, try to recruit more women to join our team at Ribbon, and also help promote more women to leadership roles. So it's just, I think it's through actions you can make a change rather than just talking about it. And you need to address the problem by actually doing something about it. That's my 2 cents.
Well, I will take your 2 cents, your 20 cents, your 99 cents. I will take it all, Bita. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that with us, because I think a lot of women, a lot of people out there, they're really going to resonate with your story. This idea of seeing the challenges and trying to hurdle over them, or just address them head on and take actionable steps to shift these cultures in workplaces that discriminate against women or discriminate against people of color or immigrants or whoever it is. So I think you're sharing some really powerful information here that I think a lot of us, I'm taking notes, in my head.
Thank you.
I'm taking notes. So truly, thank you for sharing that perspective. And this is what is so brilliant about you. You've got this incredible outlook and this day job that is marketing and corporate and telecom, and then you also do all of these other social impact projects, humanitarian outreaches and advocacy things. And I think one of the things that ties into that is your incredible food vlog, Bita's Kitchen. And I would love for you to tell us here, for those of us who are just meeting you for the first time here on NIKKI BANZ Live, talk to us about Bita's Kitchen and how it started.
I would love to. So again, being a busy woman and doing so many things, sometimes you forget about yourself. Self-care goes out the door, and you end up not doing things that are good for you as far as physical and mental. So for years, I literally went on overdrive with my jobs, especially the past 15 years, with my role at Faring Foundation. It was a startup, a nonprofit that has done that. Right off the bat had a great mission, and it's continuing, and I'm so proud of it. So it was very hard. People don't realize with nonprofits, you have limited resources, and we wanted to do great grand things. So I really worked very hard with minimal sleep at the time and just a lot of stress. It was all fruitful and it was exciting, but physically, I was really drained and really exhausted. And then from that job, I went into this job in 2014, where it took me on the road 70-80% of the time. And as a jet setter that you are, and as a travel that you are, that, especially when you're on business trips, you end up going to meetings from early till morning till late at night, dinners, etc., and then you go to bed. It's still midday here back home, so you want to text and call and catch up with family. So I ended up not sleeping properly for a couple of years, probably not eating properly, no exercise, just took my body and just like on overdrive. And what happened is that I went into early menopause. What do we have here? We can read that comment later. So I went into early menopause at 43. I'm 48 and a half now. And that's when I had my aha moment. And the way I found that is because I had like major hyperpigmentation all over my face, and I didn't know what was going on. I was tired, I was drained. So I did a test and I found that that's what's going on. So fast forward, I kind of like put a halt on Bita not caring for herself, and it started by eating healthier, because when you're on the road, you're eating whatever, and it's not a balanced diet. So I started cooking and sharing my food that I was making at home with excitement, because I was making homemade food, Persian food, and it started with adas polo and chicken and bagali polo and salmon. And they all went kind of viral back then on Facebook. And then a year and a half later, in 2018, the marketeer in me, and also the fact that I didn't want to confuse my persona as a executive, as a community active person, what have you, with the cooking, because at the time cooking and food channels weren't as popular back in 2018. It all became super popular, right? Which is actually when I had my kind of like the peak of it all happening. So I started sharing my recipes, and I started becoming more vegan and plant-based and gluten-free, and changing some of the traditional Persian recipes, Iranian recipes, making them vegan and or gluten-free, and also some other Mediterranean dishes, and the rest is history. And over the pandemic, and as a result, I have lost 20 pounds or so over the past 2 years. I feel more fit and feel more happy. I'm off of my thyroid medication after 20 years because I'm gluten-free, and my doctors have monitored me and they say you don't need to take your medication anymore. So I just want to share my journey, my journey is not the same as everybody else's. What worked for me may not work for others. So, but if that one person can benefit from what I'm doing while having fun in the kitchen, we want to have fun cooking. That's what Bita's Kitchen is all about. And I've had the honor of hosting some of the most incredible home cooks and chefs alike in my kitchen during the pandemic, virtually like this, from all over the world. And the past few months in my kitchen that we remodeled recently. And I just want to bring unity through food, and we can talk about what I'm doing this weekend. So it's just, you know, never a dull moment. You gotta make the best of it in life, and take every chance and into something good for yourself. And if it's working, share it with the world.
Wow, Bita. Ladies, gentlemen, everyone who's watching, did you hear that? Bringing unity through food. Oh my goodness, that is music to my soul, because you're absolutely...
Whoever tells you culture, if I'm different, is somebody. I shouldn't talk about my heritage in my corporate job or wherever living. I'm telling you, talk about it, because people want to hear your stories. People connect with people. People buy from people that they connect with. So if your story is unique, share it. People want to hear it. Trust me.
I 100% agree. And the thing is that so many people think that their story is not unique, or they think that, you know, it's something that people have heard before, but you tell it in your own way, your own creativity. And that's, you know, what I love about Bita Kitchen is that you have so many different ways of sharing your story. Like you said, you interview some of those the most amazing home cooks and chefs. You bring them on to guest, you know, chef in your kitchen, in your beautifully renovated kitchen like I saw. You bring them to your own home to do that. You film that, you put it online. Then you also have these tremendous reels on Instagram where you have the POV perspective, right? Point of view, where we're actually looking at you, you know, add the avocado oil and then add the, you know, the sliced up butternut or whatever it is.
Tahdig reels that go viral. I want to say I'm the Tahdig queen of Instagram. Don't tell anybody.
Yeah.
Those Tahdig reels go crazy, like 50K views and ups, crazy.
Yes, the Tahdig queen of Instagram. Even I am looking at your Tahdig and I'm like, okay, you know, my mother always told me that if I could make a good Tahdig, then I would be fit to be married, you know, as a joke, as a joke. She said, well, I mean, the proper Persian woman knows how to make a good Tahdig. And then I look at your Tahdig and I'm like, my Tahdig is bad. It's not good.
No, I'm sure it's great. And it's all practice. I have tutorials for those of you. I share it with love. Every step is there. So go ahead and look at it on my, hold on one second. And I'm good now. And that.
Oh, looks like we lost Bita for a moment, but I'm sure she's going to come back just now. I see some of you in the comments saying, oh, she knows about Tahdig. Bale, I'm half Persian. Of course I know about Tahdig. So yes, I do know about a good Tahdig. I know how to make Tahdig. You can see on my Instagram, on my highlighted stories, I've got two different highlighted stories. One about the time I made lubia polo, and one about the time that I made kheme badem jun. So don't get it twisted. Your girl NIKKI BANZ is half Persian, and I know how to cook some Iranian food. Definitely not as good as Bita, but very good. Oh my gosh, my mom is laughing. My mom is in the chats here on the Instagram live. She's saying that Bita left to go make some Tahdig. I'm going to try to get Bita back right now. Okay, she's coming back. Don't worry, stay with me. You are here with me, your host, Nicole Banister, aka NIKKI BANZ, and I am here interviewing Bita Milanian here on NIKKI BANZ Live. She's coming back right now. Don't worry, stick with me, party people. I've got her back.
I am so sorry. I don't know what happened there. I apologize. I'm back. And I saw somebody commenting that you know about Tahdig. I think we need to have my followers maybe here that don't know that you're half Iranian. That's why you know about Tahdig.
Exactly. I am half Persian. You see, I'm wearing my name here,
That's
Nicole
right.
in Farsi.
Beautiful. So where were you while I have that topic?
Yes, great question. So I was actually born in Bakersfield, California. Imagine.
Girl, I love it.
Yes, West Coast, Best Coast. So I was born in California, and we moved around quite a bit. So I lived in Texas, and I lived in Louisiana. Then I was back in Texas, and then we moved to Singapore for a couple of years.
Wow.
Then we moved back to California. Then I did my undergraduate degree at Georgetown in Washington, D.C., lived in Bolivia for a couple months while I was at Georgetown, back to D.C. Now I'm in Cape Town, South Africa. So like you said, a jet setter. I'm just everywhere, all over the place, all the time.
I love it. I've been to both Johannesburg and Cape Town. It's one of the most beautiful experiences ever. And I went on business, telecom business. Whoever said it's not good, it is, because it took me to see some of the most incredible places in the world that I probably would have otherwise not been able to visit. So yeah, I can't wait to come back. It's been years.
Yes, yes. Well, you're welcome to come visit me in Cape Town anytime. We actually just had the first ever Iranian restaurant in all of South Africa just opened in Cape Town. It's called Persian Peacock, and I absolutely love them. I think they think I'm so funny because I order from them like every week or every other week, and they know where I live. They know my favorite food. They always know what I want.
Cool. You know, one of my good friends, her sister lives there. They're Iranian. They immigrated there years ago. So there is definitely a community there.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And that community aspect is so critical. And that's exactly what you're doing with Bita Kitchen. And the fact that the fact that it started from this desire to live a healthier life and to, be able to make your own fresh, healthy, easy food on the go, even despite your very busy schedule, both in the corporate world, both as a content creator and as a socialite. I think that's really, really incredible that you were able to build community around this. And what do you see as the future for Bita Kitchen, your YouTube channel, the Instagram page? Are you trying to do more in-person events now that, we're kind of getting out of COVID? What is the future of Bita Kitchen?
Because Bita's Kitchen has grown so organically and kind of like I've let it kind of become what it is all on its own. Every day, something, all these beautiful encounters, these connections that I make, they each are a path to the next kind of phase of this journey that I've stumbled upon. But I would love to see, along with many others, for Persian food and Iranian food to become more mainstream. And that's why I do a lot of these, not a lot, but I'm hopefully going to do a lot more. I started doing these immigrant dinners with one of the local restaurants here called Momed, where we featured Iranian food on the menu. It's a non-Iranian restaurant, so that non-Iranian guests of theirs that are used to their usual menu are introduced to Iranian cuisine. And I'm doing that again. I did it last week for Nowruz, and I'm doing it again this Sunday at a kosher Mediterranean restaurant whose menu is the only Iranian food based on my menu, which I volunteer my time to go do these collaborations. So this way we bring unity through food and understanding through food, not what people see about Iran and Iranians on the media, rather than come, let's sit down around the table. So I would love to see if I can make it, kind of a kit where everybody can go duplicate this in their hometowns. If they live in middle America where there is no Iranian food, to go talk to their local favorite restaurant and ask them, hey, how about I come and cook with you once a month and we make one dish. Even if they make one dish, and to do some to Persian cuisine, it's winning for me. And then we'll see, maybe there is media down the path, my path, and we'll take this more global. We'll see. I'll just keep working hard and see what happens.
Well, you are working so incredibly hard, and so many of us, myself included, are inspired by this journey and inspired by how you're able to balance all of these different things that you do. And I want to give a little bit of an opportunity for folks who are tuning in here in the audience to ask some questions if they want to. So a couple of things. First and foremost, I saw somebody in the chat asking about my Instagram handle, Bita's Instagram handle. If you click on the top of the live where it says NIKKI BANZ Live, there's a little arrow. Click on that. You'll be able to follow me at They Call Me Banz. You'll be able to follow Bita at Bita Milanian. So the top of your screen, NIKKI BANZ Live, that little arrow, the white arrow, click on that. you'll be able to follow me and Bita. So please go ahead and do that right now. And then if you would like to ask our incredibly special guest, Bita, some questions, at the bottom of your screen, you're going to see a little thought bubble with a question mark. So click on that and you'll be able to ask a question. If you just type it in the chat, you know, Instagram Live, it's so fast. It just goes so fast. We can't see it in the chat. But if you, click on the little thought bubble, click the question mark, click on that, and then you will be able to ask Bita some questions, and I will read them out for you.
I'm ready for it.
You're ready. So I think before I go to the question.
Yesterday, those things asked me a question. So I was up till midnight answering questions. It's really, you know, I love it because it shows the level of interest and engagement. And it's actually an honor when people ask questions because they find something interesting or inspiring about you. So I appreciate them.
Yeah, I do too. And that's the beauty of doing a live on Instagram. You know, if it's a live show on TV or on another platform, you might not necessarily be able to interact with the audience if you're the interviewer, the host like myself, or if you're the guest. But here on Instagram Live, people can actually, you know, interact live with us. And I think that's one of the beauties of Instagram Live, which is why I decided to have my live show here on Instagram. So we have a couple of questions that are coming in, but I think what I'll ask you one more question to let the audience ask you questions. So again, everybody go to the thought bubble at the bottom of the screen with the question mark. Click on that. Ask Bita your questions. I will read them out in just a moment. But I guess, Bita, maybe what I'll ask you, you know, I asked you about the future of Bita Kitchen, but I know you do so many different things. So tell us, as your fans, as your followers, as your friends, what is coming up? What's next? What can we keep an eye out for so that we can continue to support you and your work and all of your amazing platforms on social media and beyond?
I appreciate that opportunity. You know, right now I'm super focused in my role at Ribbon. We've got some exciting, you know, developments happening, and with a lot of integration within our business unit. So I'm very slammed at day job, which I'm very grateful for. But again, I'm always looking for opportunities to present artists and in all forms. This is what that's really where I'm the producer in me, really where my passion lies. I just love putting things together, creative things together, bringing people together. So I have a couple of artistic projects that are bubbling up now that we're hopefully coming out of the pandemic officially. I've done these shows before, so I'm hoping to do them in the near future. So please be on the lookout, whether it's on this channel or at Beat Fly Buzz, which is my production company channel. But again, these are passion projects. I don't do these to quote unquote make a living, because again, I'm lucky enough to have a day job. This is my way of giving back to the community. And with the cooking channel, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, I'm doing another collaboration this weekend. So if you're in LA, you have nothing to do on Sunday evening, I would love to see you in person. Or we're doing the Nowruz dinner at a restaurant called NUA, NUA, in Beverly Hills, and a portion of the proceeds go to Pars Equality Center, which is one of my favorite charities, doing great work for the immigrant community here in Southern California, in California. So if you guys are in LA, come see me on Sunday. But other than that, I'm kind of like my creative juices kind of like bubble up as I go, and whatever happens, I try to package it up properly and present it quickly and efficiently, hopefully. And I'm always open to ideas and suggestions. So if you have any ideas you want to share with me, anything that you see out there that could benefit from my experience, I would love to help.
Ooh, I love that. Well, I personally will not be in Los Angeles on Sunday, unfortunately, but I will be in Los Angeles in June and July. So I would love to come to one of your events. I have to meet you in person. We'll call Tehran. We'll call Tabay.
Actually, Tehran was supposed to come and flip the tadig like my husband does, but he was supposed to do it. So we'll get him to come for sure.
Yes. Oh, we'll just call all of these people, Tabay, Tehran, Maz Jobrani, you, me. We'll just have a big link up. That's what I think we should do. Oh my goodness. Sure. Well, I'm so glad that you shared all of that with us. Remember, everybody, make sure that you are following Bita Kitchen at Bita Kitchen at Bita Milanian. Make sure you're following me at They Call Me Banz. And now I want to get into some questions from the audience here today.
Let's do it.
I saw one in the chat that I want to ask now before it goes away, since the chat moves so quick. This is from my lovely friend Hanan, who is from Sudan. Hanan is asking, how do you manage to stay on top of all of your work and passion projects? It's amazing how you do so many different things.
Thank you for that question, Hanan John. I actually answered this. Somebody else asked this question yesterday on my stories. I think when you're passionate about whatever you're doing, your job, your projects, and your family, if you do it with love and really make somehow it all works out, and obviously having time management. I've always been good about managing my time and putting priorities thing. That does not mean that I don't make mistakes. That does not mean that I fail. But generally speaking, having, being able to prioritize what's important, what needs to happen first before the other, but more importantly, being passionate and excited. If you're not passionate and excited about your job, you should seriously consider switching careers, because you're doing a disservice to yourself first, and then secondly to your employer, because life is too darn short for you to be at a job that you're not excited and passionate about. So that's number one. So that once you do that, the job becomes like, oh, easy breezy. It's just, you get the work of an 8-hour job, you get it done in 3 hours, and that leaves you 5 hours to do other things. In my case, 12 hours. But you need to be satisfied and fulfilled in whatever it is that you're doing. And this also applies to your relationships. If you're in a relationship, I'm no psychologist, I'm no family counselor. I can speak from my own personal experience. If you're not in a healthy relationship with your partner in life, with your family members, you need to go work on that. Because if you're not happy mentally and really content with who you are and as an individual, then you can't do all these other wonderful things that you want to do. So I think it's important to have your mental health in check, your relationships in check, and make sure you love the job that you have. So, and then after that, everything is kind of flows.
Wow. Azizam, I have to give you some claps for that.
Or bonito. I love the sound effect. That's so
yeah,
cool.
I have to give you the sound effects. Honestly, what an inspiring answer. You have to be at peace with yourself, your job, your partner, your relationships. And if you're not, you're doing a disservice to yourself. I could not have said that any more beautifully. And I think that so many people, so many of us, we get caught up in the day-to-day of life and in our jobs and our relationships. And if we're not happy, we have to reconsider. It's the only way forward. And I just think you are doing such an amazing job of balancing that. It shows how you're moving with love. And it's beautiful. I'm so grateful for that answer.
Thank you. I appreciate, I think if we put ourselves first, and, many cultures, especially, Middle Eastern, even, ethnic cultures, I should say, from like certain regions of the world, we've been traditionally told everybody else first. For example, when we were kids, there was a room in the house that was like the guests room, where you serve guests, whatever, when they come to visit. And that door was always locked up and super clean, and the dishes were special for the guests. And so we have been culturally trained to care about what others think and feel, and how we have to impress them first, rather than impressing ourselves first. Putting the best dishes and silverware out for ourselves first, have the best room in the house as our own dining room versus for everybody else. And then once you're doing that for yourself and you're happy, then you engage everybody else. So whenever somebody, I bought this, but I'm going to use it only for my guests, I'm like, when are guests coming over? You're your own guest. So things like that,
yes.
Shifting our mind, I think it helps a lot for us to really, it's not that hard to be happy, I promise.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Wow. Yes, you are your own guest. Do nice things for yourself. Use the best dishes for yourself, the best everything. Oh my goodness. And it is about time that as women of color, as immigrants, as refugees, however you identify from these underserved communities, you are absolutely correct. We have to put ourselves first, because the reality is that so many people in the rest of the world are not putting us first. So the least we can do for ourselves is invest in ourselves. So thank you for that. Oh my gosh, I need to go like listen to this on repeat. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. So I have two more questions for you from the fans, and then we'll wrap up quickly in these last 5 minutes. So one question I'm seeing here is, what is your favorite Iranian food? Do you have a favorite?
That is well, I like all my variety of my tahdiks, so I make a whole set of them. You can go check it out at Bita Kitchen Official. Just on Sunday, I made purple kale tahdig with Mexican onions. I came out divine. It was perfect for the sabzi polo. But, you know, if I had to pick one stew, I would pick qeime bademjun, which is eggplant stew without meat. I make him vegetarian. And if I have to pick one rice dish, that would be lubia polo, the green beans rice. Again, vegetarian. So those are my two go-to dishes to pick. But it's hard. There's so many good ones.
I completely agree. So many good ones. But I have to say, Bita, qeime bademjun is also my favorite Iranian food. So I knew we were sisters. There you
go. Make you the best qeime bademjun vegan that you've ever had. You won't miss the meat, I promise.
I believe you. I believe you. Los Angeles, June 2022.
I even make it plant-based abgush that you think you're having the real thing. We won't even miss the meat again either. People are like, what? Plant-based abgush? That defeats the whole purpose. Trust me, it's doable.
Wow. A vegan foodie chef here.
If I can chime in on this one, there's a misconception about, and I'm sure Tobi addressed this when you talked to him, the whole misconception of if you become vegan or plant-based that you're missing out on nutritions that you would get from meat and chicken, etc., which is totally wrong. You can get all your nutrition from a plant-based diet, and it's okay to, you know, I mean, once in a while I might cheat and have, you know, I have fish or chicken or what have you. It happens very rarely, but generally speaking, there's a misconception, especially from, again, from the Eastern cultures thinking, like in Iran, I know for sure they think if they don't have meat, they don't get iron. It's like, no, you get iron from other things. So I just want to do that little plug there.
Yes, you're absolutely correct. And we are all learning from you right now, and we'll keep learning from you on your page, Bita Kitchen Official. So the very last question I have for you, sticking on the foodie theme, the last question, this is from my mom, my Maman June. She's asking, do you cook any Iranian dishes in an air fryer?
Ooh, great question. So I do have a fryer. I have a multi-purpose unit by Brayville. That's been a lifesaver for me. It's a smart air fryer oven. But I haven't made a specific dish in an air fryer, but I use the air fryer to prep some of my ingredients, which has helped a lot. One of the things that I love to make in air fryer is actually French fries. They come out divine, and they're none of that stuff, but you know, I air fry some of my like vegetables that I go into my stews. That helps quicken the cooking process. But I don't have one of those like big unit air fryer thing. I don't have one of those. Mine is a little different, so I can't really make a whole. Maybe I can. I've never tried it, but yeah, I'll give it a try. Thanks for that challenge, Mom. But no, I do it a lot to prep some of my ingredients so that it expedites my cooking.
Ooh, okay, that's great tips there. That's great advice. I'm sure my mom is gonna go buy that air fryer like right now, right after this interview.
That I have, it's by Brayville Smart Air Fryer Oven. It's a toaster oven, it's a pizza oven, it's a roasting unit, it's a dehydrator, and it's like high quality. And so many people from my channel have gone and bought it that if I only got a penny for every one of those purchases, maybe I would have a week of groceries paid for.
Yeah.
But no,
I was about to say
it's a really good unit, so I highly recommend it.
Yes, we'll call them. I'll message them about sponsorship just after this. So, Bita, we are at the end of your interview here on NIKKI BANZ Live. Do you have any final words, anything last but not least you want to share with our audience here today on Instagram Live, or for anyone watching the rerun on YouTube?
Well, I want to thank you, first of all, for giving me this platform and opportunity. And above all, I just want to say how important it is more than ever before to simply love each other, love ourselves first, and love one another, because love is what's going to help us overcome all the negativity and all the, you know, unfortunate things that are happening around the world, so we can be more kinder people to each other, kinder society to each other, and really overcome the challenges that we're all going through as one members of this beautiful place we call Earth. So just pure love. That's all I'm asking for.
Oh, I love that, Bita. I literally walk around wearing my ring that says Esh on it.
I love it.
This is from Asa Kaftans in Venice, Asa Sultan's beautiful store, and I literally walk around with love on me, and I loved our interview today. I am so happy that we've met through this Instagram Live. I can't wait to meet you in real life. Thank you for coming on my show. Thank you for sharing your wisdom and your experiences with us. We are truly better off for it. So thank you for being on NIKKI BANZ Live. I appreciate it. And this has just been so lovely.
I can't wait to host you in my kitchen, and then we'll do a live from here, and it'll be a party, and we'll invite everybody to join.
Amazing. I can't wait. Well, merci. Yes, definitely.
All right. Salam Mubarak. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you. Eid Shoma Mubarak. Khodafez.
Khodafez, Mama.
Bye, Bita.
Khodafez, honey.
Bye. Bye, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is NIKKI BANZ Live every Tuesday. Follow me on Instagram @TheyCallMeBanz. Bye.